In this video, we're going to be delving deeper into the optimization of our campaign and the optimization of our funnel. First of all, I want to say excuse the morning head because I've just jumped out of bed and straight onto the laptop to record this video because the campaign that I set up yesterday, the test campaign, has been running overnight because it was targeting America and I'm based in the UK. And I checked my phone this morning and I've seen some conversions coming through. So obviously I want to get on there and start optimizing as soon as possible. But I thought it's best to actually film the process so you can kind of see what I'm looking at firsthand. And we'll see how I actually optimize the funnel and the campaign. First of all, I want to go over a few little points first, just about funnel optimization, just so you've got these as a list so you can keep coming back to refer back to this. So this is all about funnel optimization, and when I say funnel optimization, it's actually optimizing the campaign, but it's the elements of the campaign. So the images, the headlines, the landing pages, and we basically want to find out what's working and turn off what's not working, and maybe add some other elements into the campaign to try and find the most profitable path of the funnel. Later on, once we've done all of this, in the next section we're going to be covering more about publisher optimization and going deeper with whitelisting and blacklisting. But first of all, the thing that you really need to get down is the funnel and the path of the funnel, the most profitable path. So that's what we're going to be covering in this video. So funnel optimization, there's a few things to note. So as always, like I mentioned earlier on, we are optimizing to minimize loss first of all, because with our funnel, we've got lots of different elements. Some of those elements will be failing and not working and bleeding money. So the first thing that you want to have in mind before you start chasing any profit is you want to cut the losses as soon as possible, which we've already spoken about, but you need to keep this in mind every time you're looking at your campaign. Is there anything which is losing money that I need to get rid of and cut? So always have that in mind. But the next thing is we actually need to start optimizing for a profit. And even when something is profitable, it doesn't mean that that is the most profitable it can be. You want to say, well, if this image is working well, maybe I can think of another image which is quite similar angle and I can add in, and we keep optimizing and continue optimizing even once it is profitable. You need to bear that in mind. Don't just think, oh, because this is profitable, I'm going to turn off the losing things and sit back, because there's probably a lot more money to be made, and it's a continual process. And the whole goal with funnel optimization and optimizing a campaign, like I just mentioned, is to find the most profitable path. So what you will see in the stats, and even from the short time that I've been running this campaign, we'll dive in deep in a second, you'll start to see, well, this image is working well with this headline and this landing page going to this offer. And you actually go, well, that's crazy, the amount of profit that path is already making. So you could actually isolate that path and go, well, I'm just going to run a campaign based around that. You don't want to do that too early on though, because you need to give it enough time to actually get quite a few conversions coming through. But you want to start looking for a little profitable path, which you can then start to isolate later on and focus on, and that's when the money starts coming in. Also, what you want to do on a daily basis, or like every few days, every couple of days, is adding new images and new headlines and new landing pages. So if we're optimizing to minimize the loss first, we're probably going to be cutting some images and maybe some headlines, and eventually, once they've had enough traffic, some of the landing pages we're going to get rid of. Now, it's good process to get into is actually replace those with new ones, so you can keep trying to find profitable angles and different elements which could be more profitable. Because just because you have found a winning image so far with a winning landing page, that doesn't mean that is going to be your most profitable one. So you want to keep adding them in, and you want to compare them against your most profitable elements which are working well in the funnel. So if you've got an image which is absolutely crushing it, you can use that as the control and then keep adding new images in on a daily basis or every few days, and see whether they compare to that, and if they don't, you get rid of them. If they replace it, then you can get rid of the other one, and that is the continual process that we're going on. Once you've had enough traffic to your landing pages, what you can actually do, if you find, say, a winning landing page or there's some clear winners, you can say, well, this format is working really well for this landing page. I'm going to isolate that. I'm going to get rid of the other ones. But what I'm going to do is duplicate that landing page and change the headline and maybe have a play around with the headline. And then you've got two very similar landing pages which you know are converting well with a slightly different headline. And then you dive a bit deeper because you're actually split testing headlines on the landing pages. And then you can do that with images on the landing pages, and you can keep going even deeper once you start finding profitable paths. And as I said, that is the continual process. And overall, what we're going to be doing, and I'm going to show you this in a moment, is we're going to be optimizing using cost per click versus earnings per click. Now, this is obviously the cost per click that we are paying on average per click going through to the offer. And we will be able to see how much those clicks are actually earning on average. And that's how we can start to optimize and find the most profitable paths. But we'll show you that in a second when I dive in. So here's the campaign that I've been running. So it's the Sonus Complete one, the test. I mean, I've had quite a few conversions, which is good news because I wasn't too sure. I didn't do enough research about this product, to be honest, to make sure it was definitely a win. I mean, it was on a lot of spy tools, but it wasn't getting a great EPC on the affiliate network. But we did it as a test, and it's making some conversions. I think we can make this profitable, to be honest. So as you can see here, when you come into it, let's look at it from the overall offer, so you can see profit and loss. So this is basically an overview of the campaign from the offer tab. So this will just show us all of the stats for all the images and everything leading through, because we've only got one offer. And you can see here, it's received 557 visits, which are their clicks on the adverts. And then out of those it's actually 520 unique clicks. Out of those 520 unique clicks, 232 of them have clicked through the landing pages. Now, we don't know which landing pages they are at this stage, but this is just overall. 225 of them are unique. Out of those 225 clicks that have actually landed on the offer page to watch this VSL, 6 of them have purchased the product, and we've been paid out $78 per sale. So that is not a bad start, to be honest, considering I've only been running it less than 24 hours. And the campaign actually ran out of budget late last night while I was asleep. So it could have made a lot more money. One thing to note is I actually increased the budget to $450, I think it was, in total, because I wanted to get some more information quicker. I wanted to get some more data quicker so we could actually dive into the stats. Now, you might run this on a slower budget of $50 per day or a little bit less, and you obviously wouldn't get this many results as quick, but obviously I'm running it quite aggressively, and this is how I prefer to run campaigns. If I've got the budget, I want to find the results pretty quickly, to be honest. So as we scroll along here, you can see that the revenue that we've generated so far is $468, but we've actually spent $506 on adverts. So we're currently at a loss of $38, which is not bad at all. We're literally we're one conversion away from profit, which is a fantastic start. And we can see here the cost per view is 90 cents per view, which is quite expensive, to be fair. And we can work on trying getting that cost per view down, which we'll see later, because some of the images will be more expensive, and we need to get rid of those. But overall, the cost per view is 90 cents per view. We're getting an ICTR of 10%, which isn't crazy high for rev content. Now, it's different depending on which network you're on, or if you're running mobile, but I like to get my ICTR double that if I can. So we need to work on headlines and images to try and increase that click-through rate. But as we say, there may be a couple of images that are crushing it and getting really high ICTR, and some that are getting really low. So we don't know that yet, but I'm just going over the overall stats so far. Click-through rate on the landing page, so people clicking through the landing page to the offer, is 41%, which is pretty good. It's the landing page which we're using is a very basic landing page with one button on. So for those types of landing pages, you would expect a click-through rate of over 30%, over 40%. So that's pretty expected, to be honest. If you're doing more of an advertorial landing page, it probably will be less, because people read more and they might click off, and it's not as clear a call to action as there are on these landing pages. So that's fine. And then we scroll across. The conversion rate of clicks that arrive to the offer is 2.59%. So that's actually quite a fairly okay conversion rate, which we are happy with. We'll continue to scroll across. This is the conversion rate per view, which we don't really need to worry about, but it's comparing the conversion rate of the clicks coming into the funnel and the conversion rate of them. And this is the conversion rate of the actual offer. So the conversion rate of the offer is actually fairly high. So we've got some legs with this. I think we can do quite well. The return on investment is minus $7.62, which is pretty it's not bad at all. We are literally very close to getting profit. The earnings per view is 84 cents. So if you just look at this, cost per view is 90 cents. And this is clicks coming into the funnel, and the earnings per view is 84 cents. So my job here now is to optimize this funnel to basically make sure that we're lowering this cost per view and increasing this earnings per view. The same here with earnings per click, $2. So these are the clicks that are going through to the funnel. Hopefully this is making sense, but as you start doing this yourself, it will start to sink in a bit better. But I just want to go through each step, what everything means, just so you get an idea. But it's obviously a lot of information to take in. And if you're new to this or you kind of don't understand this, once you get your own campaign up and running, you will start to get the hang of it, honestly. But this is the earnings per click. So these are clicks that are coming through to the offer, and they're generating me $2 per click. And if you remember, if we looked on the affiliate software, the affiliate manager, the affiliate program, Affiliax, sorry, the earnings per click overall for that was about $1.30, I think. So we're doing better than the affiliate network. So that's good. And then let's continue scrolling across. This is the CPM, what we're paying per 1,000 impressions. And then this is the effective cost per click. So these are the metrics that I like to use: earnings per click and cost per click, basically. And these are these are clicks that actually land on the offer page. Now, I just prefer to optimize my funnel using these. You can do it with earnings per view versus cost per view, but I prefer to do it with earnings per click versus cost per click. And basically, it's costing me, on average, $2.18 to get a click coming through my adverts, through my landing page, and eventually onto the offer. On average, every person that actually reaches that offer is costing me $2.18, right? Hopefully that's making sense. And at this moment in time, even with my unoptimized funnel, I'm earning $2 for every click that reaches that funnel. Because it's converting at 2.56, I'm actually earning $2.02 for every click which reaches that funnel, which reaches that offer page. So you start to see, well, all I need to do now is I need to work on my funnel to bring this cost per click down. So that could be by increasing the click-through rate on the images, which means I'm going to get more clicks coming through those images, and it's going to be cheaper. Or you could actually optimize the landing page, because I've currently got a 40% click-through rate overall for the landing pages, but I might be able to increase that to 50% by having to play around with it. And if I can keep increasing this and getting more clicks coming through to the offer for a cheaper price, then I start to drop this price down. And then that means that we're in profit. So that's how I like to optimize. And this is ECPA, which is the effective cost per action. So we're currently getting paid $78 per action, and it's costing us $84 to get a conversion at this stage. But that's not too bad. That's overall. These are just global stats for the overall thing, the overall campaign, but we're going to delve a little bit deeper now. So first of all, I'm going to go to creatives. So we can see the creatives. I've organized these. So what I like to do is, first of all, organize the creatives by profit. and basically the ones that are most profitable, because we don't want to be killing anything that's made any conversions that's profitable at this stage. Even anything that's got any conversions at this early stage, I wouldn't kill. We want to be killing anything which doesn't seem to be performing, which has got no conversions. So we can start to see here that out of these images, these ones are performing best, but this is quite interesting because we can't really see a clear winner with regards to the images at this stage. I mean, this image is winning at the top and it's appearing here and here with these headlines. So from just this quick glance, I would say that this is obviously looking like it could be a winning image, depending on the headlines, and potentially we don't really know about the headlines yet because this headline is different to this headline. So again, this is what I mean. We're not going to choose a clear winner out of this. We wouldn't just choose this top line here, depending on your budget, but we wouldn't just go, right, well, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to turn everything off. I'm going to leave this one because this one's made me $100 profit. Because just by looking at the information here, these are contradicting. So it's obviously a bit of chance that this one's happened to get one extra conversion at this stage because there's not enough data. And because we're basing it on so early on data, which has only had 2 conversions against the rest of them that have had 1, that's not enough data to make any decisions about a winner. But what we can start to do is continue to make decisions about losers. So we can scroll down and we can see that all of these down here seem to be losing. And what I like to do is just look at it from a profit point of view, and you can see at the bottom here this headline here, simple method ends tinnitus earring in its genius, seems to be grouped up at the bottom, and it's not there. None of them have made any profit. Let's see if we go further up. So from that bit of just looking at it, you'd start to think, well, this headline may be a loser. Because they've not had any conversions so far. Maybe it's the line, it's genius, is just putting people off. It just sounds a bit too, I don't know, it's not working with the theme, because these ones seem to be working better. So you can start to notice little patterns with things that aren't working so far. But you wouldn't just view it just on that. We would go and then, before we start killing anything, we want to come along here and just have a look at the data and just go to ICTR, because we're looking at images at this moment in time. So in terms of ICTR, so this is click-through rate, the front end of the funnel. This top image is getting 0.15% ICTR, and we're paying 60 cents per click. So that's not bad. That's a good one. So these ones are fine here. So this one and this one here is getting a high ICTR, but it just doesn't happen to have a conversion yet. And this is why you need to leave things. So you won't just turn that off, because that actually might end up being quite profitable. But what we want to keep looking at is the total losers in this. So we're going to scroll down and we want to see if there's any losers. So here, this one has got the lowest ICTR, but it's actually had a conversion. So we're only getting an ICTR of 0.06, but we've had a conversion. So we're actually paying $1.46 per click per visit for this image. So you would start to think, well, that might need killing. Obviously, it doesn't need killing at this moment in stage because it's got a conversion. So I would leave any of them that are at the bottom that have got conversions. And then we want to find any that haven't got conversions, that have got a really low click-through rate. So then we've already turned this one off, so that's fine. This one here has got no conversions. It spent $46. We're paying $1.36 per click, per view. An ICTR of 0.7. It's not great. It's had fairly enough clicks to the offer as well, and it just doesn't seem to be doing that great, to be honest. And if we look at the effective cost per click, it's $3 that it's costing us to send a click via this image through the funnel to the offer. So what I would do here is I'd go, well, I'm starting to notice a bit of a theme here. This one wasn't performing great yesterday. This isn't seem to be performing great. We've just had a look, and this headline seems to be at the bottom of the pile when we look at profit as well. So I would turn this one off now. And then we can continue to have a look. And it depends how aggressively you want to be with this, because if you've got a smaller budget and you want to actually get into profit a lot quicker, you can be a lot more aggressive with this. And then we look at this one here. So this one has had 42 visits. And we'll have a look. It's costing us $1 per click for this. We're getting a 0.09% ICTR. But if you actually look at it, it's only costing us $1.70 ECPC, so cost per click through to the offer. So that's not that bad. That's actually quite good, because we could make that profitable. If we got one conversion, we could be in profit. So I would be a little bit apprehensive of actually turning things off like that so early on, because one conversion could bring that into profit, and it's actually performing okay with regards to the ECPC, the cost per click. So this is just images and headlines, and we're kind of looking at this from a click-through rate point of view, from an ICTR point of view, and we want to get rid of anything which seems to be losing. What you do find is that there's anomalies which kind of ruin the whole process, because this is at the bottom of the pile for click-through rate, but it's got a conversion. So I'm not going to turn that off just yet, because it's working quite well. One thing I have actually noticed, which is quite annoying, is that because I just did this campaign like as a test, like last minute, when I was coming up with these headlines, top foods you must avoid instantly if you have tinnitus. That was a headline that I created just as an example, and I've ended up copying it into here because I didn't think about it. I never actually managed to create a landing page to be congruent with that. So they're going to click on this top foods that you must avoid instantly, expecting to read an article about top foods you must avoid instantly, and it's not going to say anything about that because I just copied the landing pages. The landing pages are do this tonight, stop earringing. So I mean, it's still a bit congruent, but it's not ideal, to be honest. So I've kind of messed up a little bit there, but I mean, we have got one conversion from that. So just going back to these creatives, you could potentially, I mean, I'm not going to turn that headline off there, but I might turn it off because I don't want to lose money either. I'm going to turn it off there because it's not performing great for that image. And I'm going to turn it off there as well because that image doesn't seem to be doing great. We have had a conversion for it up there. But this headline, even though we have got one conversion, I'm not convinced that's the best headline for this campaign, to be honest, because yeah, it's not performing great. And it's not congruent with the landing page. So this is what you do. It's quite a manual process, and you need to take a bit of judgment on it yourself. Obviously, there's rules to follow, especially with the rules that I talked about with actually killing things once you've spent some budget. But you start to see things which go against those rules. So this is not getting a great click-through rate, but it's had a conversion. So you're like, I'll leave that a bit longer. And then now we'll have a look at landing pages just to see how they're performing. And then I'll show you how we actually find the profitable paths, because what we find is looking at the stats this way, it's not totally fair because we're not sure the split that this image had to which landing page. So if one of the landing pages is not performing great, it could be affecting the conversions, because say for instance this image might have had more distribution to a landing page which is not performing great. So if we were to turn this off now, it might not be fair. So we turn things off which seem to be doing really bad, but you do want to delve a bit deeper and see the path of the click. So first of all, let's go and have a look at landers, and then we can see here these are the 3 landing pages which I'm currently running, and they've all had 2 conversions each. So this is what you find with landing pages, especially the landing pages that I've chosen, because they all are very similar. But you find out that they've all had the same conversions, they're all at the same loss. The click-through rate is another metric which we would use, and this one is getting a slightly lower click-through rate. So let's have a look at this one. We try and find out why. So this one's getting a lower click-through rate than say this one, which is quite interesting because this has got a play button on, but this one just seems to be performing not as good. I mean, this is very, very minute. It's very not a lot of data, and this can change hour by hour. But they've all had the same amount of conversion. So I'm not turning any of these off as of yet. And as I said, we want to be sending at least 100 clicks going through the landing page before we decide to kill any of them. But even before we decide to choose any winners, we want to at least have like over like 300 clicks before we start choosing any winners, because landing pages do need a bit more traffic before you can make any decisions. Let's have a look at the ECPC. So this is the cost per click overall for all of the images. So again, this isn't fair. We're not going to be basing it on this, but I just want to look at this. This is a stat. I like to see if there's anything jumping out at this stage. So this is the cost per click that's costing me to send a click to the offer page through the funnel. So this is coming from the landing page view. And as you can see, this top landing page is actually getting us clicks at $1.89 through to the offer. So that's a good sign. The lower, obviously, the better. The cheaper we're getting a click through to the offer, the better. And if there's any really expensive ones here, then I would start to question that and maybe turn it off if it is crazy expensive. And then we obviously want to compare that against the earnings per click. But something quite interesting here, this one's getting cheaper clicks through to the offer, but it's not earning as much. So again, I think that's just purely based on the fact that we have got not that much data at this stage. I don't want to be over-analyzing this data, but I just want to show you what you need to be looking for yourself. It's best if you leave it a bit longer, to be honest, with things like this, with landing pages, definitely. And that kind of is what we're analyzing at this stage. I'll just show you, if we go back to creatives, so we'll just organize these creatives as most profitable. So these are the most profitable ones. And then what you can do inside a volume is you can start to isolate certain paths. So obviously certain images might perform better with certain landing pages. So you kind of want to isolate this. So you want to come into your data like every day and just checking out if there's anything that you can see forming like a really profitable path. So you can come up here and you select creatives, and then we can choose landing pages here. And if you've got multiple offers, you can choose offers here. You can choose lots of other things as well, but we'll just keep it as creatives and landers at this stage. We click apply, and then what you can do is click the little drop down at the top, and then what you can see is that this image, how it's performing with each of the landing pages. It's very isolated. So we can see that these first two landing pages is what are led through to the conversions for this image. So then what we can scroll across here, and you can actually see that this path, so this image with landing page global tinnitus 2, we've only had one conversion. So this is obviously really early stats, and you want to wait till you've had about 5 conversions at least before you start isolating anything and seeing true results. But just so you can see how it works, you can see that this has had a 400% ROI. So we're actually, it's costing me with this, still quite expensive actually, $2.43 to get a click to the offer page with this, but we're actually earning $13 per click back from that path. So what you could do is isolate that. You could go, well, actually, what I'm going to do is I think this landing page with this offer is working really, really well. After you've obviously got quite a few conversions in, and then you could actually start to turn off more and be more aggressive with what you're turning off and leave that path. I'd be a bit apprehensive with just focusing on one image because images do get burnout, but this might be a certain angle that you've gone for or a certain headline. So maybe this headline you start to notice is working really well with this landing page. So again, you could come down to this one and you could see, well, this is tinnitus 2. So this top landing page seems to be doing the best at the moment in time. and it's actually generated me a 400% ROI here. And that is basically the process we go through to find the most profitable paths. But yeah, it does take a bit more time because you want to have some conversions, because these could just be fluke conversions that came through quite luckily at the start. And if you was just to put all your eggs in one basket and just focus on that one path, it might not be profitable going forward. But if you are on a smaller budget, and you're starting to run out of testing budget and you want to start getting into profit a lot sooner, you would obviously tackle this in probably a more aggressive way and go, well, I'm starting to see winners earlier on, and I'm gonna kind of isolate those winners earlier on. But as you go forward now, I'm gonna add more images into this now, because I want to try and increase this ICTR and get it to go up. So we want more clicks coming through, people clicking on the advert. So we can do that by adding in more images, because I've only got 3 images at the moment, and we can continuing to add to that, and you watch it, and that is the process you go through. I will also work on a landing page, because the landing pages which I added in, I just ripped all of them for an example, but I want to add in more landing pages. I want to work on my own, because I didn't actually expect this to be as it's actually working out quite well. It's not profitable yet, but it's got potential to be a profitable campaign, very profitable, to be honest. So that's kind of the process we would go through now. Another thing I just want to show you quickly before we go is widget IDs. So obviously we want to be optimizing based on the placements. Now I am going to go into more detail about this in the next section, because you don't really need to worry about this right at the start so much. We just want to be turning off what's losing, because the whole goal of this at the moment is just to optimize the funnel, so we can find out the most profitable funnel, and then we start really going deep with the placements and where we're showing it, and that's when we start upscaling and actually making the most profit. But I just want to show you this quickly just as a thing. So I've organized these widgets into profit. So these are the ones that are losing the most money, and you would keep an eye on this and then turn off any ones that I've spent at least one times the ad spend. Now I'd probably turn this off very soon. It's nearly spent $50 with no conversions. But you also look at it from cost per click. So like this one here is costing me $8 to get a click through to the offer. Now I know that's not, it's going to be, it's almost impossible. It's not impossible, but it's very hard to make that profitable based on the global EPC that I'm currently getting. So I sometimes just dive in here and would turn that off sooner. So even though it's only spent $17, it doesn't seem to be performing that well. So you could just come in and just literally just turn it off here. Turn off that widget ID and just prune any of the losers for now. I'll just show you this. If we change it to profit, you can start to see that these are the profitable widget IDs so far. So like this one at the top that's had 2 conversions is actually on an ROI of 1,640%, which is awesome. Obviously that's because it's had 2 lucky conversions, but you can start to see these are really high ROI. So hopefully that gives you an insight into when we start actually isolating profitable placements, that's when you start hitting the big money, which I am going to cover in the next section. So now what you need to do is if you're running your own campaign, is just use this to optimize the sales funnel and find the best images and landing pages and work through that on a daily basis and trying to really make this as profitable funnel as possible before you start moving on to actually whitelisting and blacklisting at scale.